Alright, so now I'm actually talking about the ways in which I screwed up. I really wanted to do this in like a seven deadly sins kind of way, but it's kind of been overdone. However, I did try and split up most of the ways in which I have failed into three categories. The matrix loop, then there's the film phenomenon, and then the pendulum problem. I'm now realizing that those sound really pretentious, but it's the best that I got, and I don't really have that much time. So deal with it, I guess. So I'm gonna start with the matrix loop because that's the one that I like the most. Anyone who knows me knows that actually, you know what, no. Anybody who's watching this video right now knows that I procrastinate a lot. Like, to the point of near self-destruction. Just for a quick, idea of how much I procrastinate, it is rare that I show up to zero period with my first period homework done. However, much like Neo in arguably the most famous Matrix scene to date, I managed to dodge all the consequences of my terrible study habits. So the succession of events is that I don't do my homework in the ample time that I have, I get it done in the last second, get full credit for the work, and then don't learn my lesson the hard way, or really anyway, because it just keeps working. You know how in the last episode I mentioned that all my other classes kind of went downhill? Yeah, somehow I always manage to get my F's and D's up to A's and B's. How? I don't really know. See, if you're still confused, the reason why I call this the matrix loop is because I always manage to slightly dodge the consequences of my actions, and then I continue to put myself in a situation where I need to keep dodging all of those problems. Next is the film phenomenon, which kind of bleeds in from the matrix loop. My project that I mentioned many times before called Film is a story about a boy named Phil who loses motivation and interest in his film endeavors because he realizes that he has no talent. It was all shot on an iPhone and had little to no script, kind of like this, which is ironic. Most of this, all of this was because I had limited time. I had a week and I had to work with what I had in my pocket. Not only did I get caught in the matrix loop, but it was my best rated project by my peers. I don't know why, but people liked it. The film phenomenon is much less about the progression of events as in the matrix loop, but it's more about the reward at the end. The other two projects I worked on last semester, they weren't bad, but film was clearly better. I started to challenge my own film experience because the best project that I had made was made when I wasn't really even thinking. The film phenomenon allows you to think that, oh, I do my best work when I'm stressed. I don't do my best work when I'm stressed. The film phenomenon is labeled as such because at its core, it's all about getting lucky. It's a phenomenon, not a pattern. As soon as I allow myself to believe in the film phenomenon and that it will always be there to help me, I end up in a situation like this. Last and certainly not least is the pendulum problem. I call it the pendulum problem because, like a pendulum, it is the swinging between two extremes. The two sides of the pendulum are the two states of mind in collaboration. The negotiator doesn't really want to push a schedule. They don't want to hurt anyone's feelings and they want everyone to be happy about the project. See, the negotiator can be useful because in a group project, if everyone is super adamant about what they want to happen, nothing will get done because nobody is willing to give up any ground. But the negotiator can kind of fail in that they can be too wishy-washy. They can be too undecisive or indecisive, which I have no clue. But the negotiator can fail to push an agenda in which nothing gets done. At that point, we end up approaching the other side of the pendulum, which is the asserter. I don't really know if that's a word, but it works. I can show you right now. You probably can't see that, but spell check didn't say that it was wrong, so I'm gonna say that it's not wrong. The asserter, as the name implies, is very assertive. This is the kind of person who will create a schedule and takes charge. The asserter is useful because they're able to get things moving along, most likely with a lack of sugarcoating. The pendulum problem is that I personally want to be flexible and I try not to be assertive, but when a project inevitably goes south, like a pendulum, I tend to swing to the other extreme. I can get a little rude and I tend to shout at other people. Although things do get done in the end, it is rarely a fully realized and worthwhile product. The pendulum problem is a problem because it would be best for me to sit in the middle of the pendulum. Because I lack the composure to stay in the middle of the pendulum, my projects suffer. I find that it's these key aspects of my character and film work that make me guilty for a large part of my failures. I realize that I can't point fingers at other people and say that they're the problem because then I can't grow. But again, I'm at that point where I have no idea how I'm going to end this episode because I don't really want to talk about what I can do with this information until the next episode. So, yeah, I think I'm going to have to do what I did last time and just cut it right here.